Dumelang Absheni Sanmanani Molweni, and welcome to my corner of the internet. My name is Boniswa Modo, and I wish I was here for the first time. I wish I could say I'm doing YouTube for the first time. I'm starting it out. It's a new year, it's a new me type situation. But sadly, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I'm not doing it for the first time. This is Boniswa Modo the return. I'm doing this for the second time. I've done it before, slightly differently than I am doing it right now, but I am back and I am better than ever before. So welcome to my corner of the internet, and I am so happy that you are watching this video right now. You're listening to this podcast. Very, very happy to have you. This particular episode is called Let Me Reintroduce Myself. But let me tell you a little bit about this entire series, actually. So this is going to be a limited series of about 10 episodes. And the series is titled Reinvent Yourself. Because I find that a lot of the time we get ourselves in a gridlock of some sort because we have invented ourselves. We've sort of boxed ourselves as certain human beings, as certain persons. We've put ourselves in certain roles, and we think that we can't redefine ourselves. We can't reinvent ourselves. We can't sort of shape our lives a bit differently than those roles have required of us. You find that you've become a mother, and now you've sort of forgotten about certain dreams that you had for yourself, or you have become a student, and there are things that you wanted to do before you became a student or a full-time student. There are things that you wanted to do. There are certain hobbies that you wanted to try out, but now because you're so focused on being a student, which is great, but you've forgotten a certain part of who you are. And who knows that part of who you are may just become the best version of yourself, or give you the best version of yourself and give you the best taste of your life, really. So my message with this limited series is that you can always reinvent yourself. You can always just take yourself outside the box, take yourself outside the role that you have defined yourself in. So truly, all of us have it in us to sort of take ourselves outside of boxes that we've put ourselves in. So very, very important. The series is titled Reinvent Yourself, and I made it about you, not about me, because we all ought to look into our lives and see if we need to do any bit of reinvention, any bit of redefining. But anyway, this particular episode is called Let Me Reintroduce Myself. Allow me to reintroduce myself. And that is truly because I think a lot of people who have followed me, they know my journey, they know who I am, or they know who I used to be. So now, allow me this opportunity to reintroduce myself and speak in a voice that is going to be probably relatable to you, in a voice that probably you've never heard me speak in before because you do not know this version of Boniswa. So, in that very spirit of reintroducing myself, as I've already said, my name is Boniswa. I'm not going to tell you my surname until the very end because that is very juicy, okay? I am Boniswa, and this is my corner of the internet, really, and I'm hoping that we grow together, we become a community, and I've always loved that about myself, that I've always just wanted to be a part of important conversations. I've always wanted to be a part of progressive communities. So I am here to try and build a progressive community together with you. I am Boniswa. I was born and bred in Umzimkhulu, which is in the southern Midlands of KwaZulu-Natal. Fun fact about Umzimkhulu, I always say this, that I grew up until the year 2005, when I was 11 at the time. Umzimkhulu was demarcated under the Eastern Cape. So I grew up in the Eastern Cape, and then suddenly one day we were told that actually you're no longer under the Eastern Cape, but you are under the province of KwaZulu-Natal. So that is why now we are proudly under the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Nonetheless, that's where I was born and bred, in Umzimkhulu, in a very, very small village. Not in Umzimkhulu town, but in the outskirts of Umzimkhulu, a small village called Bovini. That's where I was raised by my wonderful grandmother, whom I can talk at length about, who brought me up with so many good principles. One of those principles was the admiration for education. So my grandmother believed so much in the power of education, in how it can change one's life, particularly educating the girl child. So she was very adamant about us as the girl children growing up in her household. She was adamant about us going to school, not only just going to school, but doing well in school and ensuring that we focus and we know that school is the only gateway for us out of the rural areas, out of poverty, out of any disadvantage. So that's how I was raised. Those are the principles that my grandmother instilled in me, that the only way out is through good education. And the only way to get good education when you are going to some of the most disadvantaged schools in the country, it is for you to focus. It is for you to, apply yourself when you are in school. You're not just going to play eskoleni, but you're going to, she would put it like that, through education. So that was my upbringing. I was raised by my wonderful grandmother, Dlamini. So shout out to all the Dlamini people. And yeah, sadly, she passed on in 2018. May her soul rest in peace. She remains the absolute love of my life, and I truly miss her. But also I am very, very grateful for the things that she taught me, for the principles that she instilled in me, and truly just the drive and the resolve, man. My grandmother just always had that you must have a certain resolve. You must have a goal and want to aspire and want to attain that goal. So I still hold that dear to heart to this day. So I was raised in that sort of setup. I was the first grandchild and firstborn daughter, first grandchild. So this means that I got a lot of attention and love. And I think that this shaped my upbringing and this shaped my formative years, because I was the only child around. I was the only little person around. And so everyone was sort of interested in me. They wanted to hear what I had to say. I wasn't the type of child were taught, or type of children who were taught that a child must be seen and not heard. No. That did not apply in my world. I was seen, I was heard. I was seen and heard. So that was my upbringing. I had a lot of uncles. I had my mom and my aunt, and I think I was brought up with quite a bit of love and a lot of support and a lot of encouragement. And there's a book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell that talks about how if someone is nurtured and told that they are good at something, of course they're going to improve even more, because it builds their confidence. It builds that sort of momentum in them that, oh, I'm good at this, and then they just keep getting better and better and better at it. So I think I also got the benefit of that. I think my family always just encouraged me that I was smart, and they made me believe that I was smart, and they made me believe that what I had to say was worth listening to, because they would always give me the time of day. But yeah, I am a firstborn daughter, and you know what they say about firstborn daughters: very strong personalities, always right. They are the people who dictate what must happen. No, but I am working on that as a person as I'm growing older. But yes, I think I have a lot of that strong personality, that sense of responsibility, a very big sense of responsibility, because I was the firstborn, and as I said, I was the first grandchild. So all my siblings and my cousins, they all came after me, and I took care of them, and I had some sort of responsibility over them. So I have that very strong sense of being a very responsible young woman. What a responsible young woman. I'm just checking my notes as well here, just to make sure that I don't leave anything out. And yeah, as I've already said, that I went to some of the most under-resourced schools in the country. I went to Bombini Primary School from grade 1 to grade 9. So in our schools at the time, primary school was from, let me rather say high school only started in grade 10. You only went to a high school or a secondary school when you were in grade 10. And so this means that you would be in what you considered a primary school setting for grade 1 to grade 9. So that was the case with me. I was at Bovini from grade 1 right up until grade 9. And then I proceeded to Engwaka Senior Secondary School, and I did my grade 10 right through till grade 12 in Engwaka. And that's where I also just nurtured my ability to, public speak, or rather my love for public speaking. That's when it was nurtured the most, because I was part of the debating community or the debating team in school. I started debating from the second week I was in that school. I remember the first debate was, we did debate every Thursday. And the first Thursday, the teacher came to select the person, because each class would have a representative. So she came in to select the person who was going to be representing our class for that week, the very first week. And then she tried to select me, and I talked her out of it. I was like, ma'am, I understand. It's fine. I am looking forward to it. I also want to partake in debate, but just not this week. I don't want to do it this week because I do not know how it works. Please choose someone who's seen it before. I don't know how it works. I want to see it. Next week, definitely, I'm going to go. You won't even have to come and select me. I, negotiated with her like that. And indeed, she selected somebody else to go represent us for that particular Thursday. And then the following Thursday, it was my turn. I can't remember the topic that we were debating, but I remember the amount of preparation that I did. I remember Googling things, searching things. I don't even know whose phone was I using, because I didn't have a phone that had access to internet at the time. We used Opera Mini to access the internet. Yeah, that's what I was using. I don't know whose phone I was using, but I sort of applied myself to the topic at hand. I prepared, I wrote out my speech. I had a whole presentation and whole performance planned out. I know it was a performance because right at the end, and I had never seen anyone do this, but I did my speech, I laid out my points, and at the end, I took a bow. And it was the most dramatic thing because no one had done that. And yeah, the entire school just went crazy. Like, who is this girl and why is she so fierce? But that was the person I was. I was very excited to be in high school. I was very excited to be part of the debating team. I was excited to be in a public speaking platform, or rather on a public speaking platform. I remember one of the persons who had, because there was a whole lot of fear around debating, because you are standing on the podium in front of the entire school, and then people would tell you how scary it is to be in front there. And somebody had said to me, for you not to be scared, just don't look at the people, just look over their heads, And I actually took that. I looked over people's heads. But I remember getting up there, getting onto the podium, and I remember sitting there on some, these people aren't scary. This is not a lot of people. This is not a lot of people at all. I am not scared to be in front of these people. And mind you, I'm in grade 10. I'm new. I'm fresh in the school. There's seniors who are sitting and watching me who are in grade 12, But I wasn't scared of them at all. I genuinely was not. But yeah, and then the days after that, I was a bit of a topic in the school because now everyone wants to find out where did you go for your primary? Did you go to a school in Durban, or yeah, some sort of, did you have some sort of advantage to prior to you coming to Engwaga? And I didn't have any advantage. I was just passionate about public speaking, and I still am to this day. I'm sure you can tell. Yeah, so that was my sort of high school experience, especially with public speaking. But I was an academic performer as well. I mean, my teachers would tell you I was an academic performer. I did debate. I wasn't really athletic at all. at all. The only sport I tried to partake in, because really in school you would be forced to be in some sort of sport, I'd do volleyball. And yeah, that was really just so that there's something I'm doing. But yeah, I wasn't athletic at all. But I held it in class. That's what I would always pride myself with. I'm like, but I can't carry all the load for the school. I mean, I'm carrying it in class. And also I do orals, like when there'd be orals, moderations, and then I'd have to represent the class. And I did that. I did it very well, even if I do say so myself. Okay. And yeah, and then I matriculated out of Engwaga Senior Secondary School. I went to UKZN. And now the story of how I go to UKZN and how I get into the law school at UKZN, that's a story that I have an entire episode lined up on. So I'm going to be telling that story in detail because it's a juicy one. It's an interesting one. It's a story about fate. It's a story about how God directs our steps, even when we are not even aware, even when we don't know. So the story of how I got into law, why did I get into law, and what inspired me really to get into law is a story that has an entire episode on. So please do look out for that episode. So I got into law school at UKZN, Howard College. And when I am in second year of my law degree, I then get this burning desire to want to get onto radio. So I am just this person who's like, you know what? I want to get onto radio. And I think I can do it. I think I'm capable of being a radio presenter. I think I've got what it takes to be a great radio presenter. And I started seeking out opportunities to get onto radio. And that story as well of how I sought out those opportunities to get onto radio, how I lined up everything, and how God intervened as well to order my steps in that direction. That story also has another episode, so do check that one as well. Quite juicy, quite interesting, and also very, very inspirational, and particularly on the subject of how really, truly, once you really desire something, the universe conspires to grant it to you, to give it to you. So I got onto radio in my second year of university at UKZN. And the rest is history because I am still on radio to this day. So I started radio in the year 2013. I know. It's what now? 13 years. Goodness gracious, it's been a while. Yeah, so that story has an entire episode, and I'm looking forward to you watching that episode as well. Nonetheless, I then graduate from UKZN. I graduate with my LLB, and now UKZN obviously is in KZN in Durban. And after graduating, I then landed a job in Johannesburg. Straight after graduate, well, a year after graduating, I then moved to Johannesburg, packed up my bags, and now my entire life changes because the dynamic of my radio career as well also changed with that move, because Ukhozi FM is headquartered in Durban. Yes, we have studios in Johannesburg, but the headquarters are in Durban. So I'll also just be detailing that journey in another episode. But essentially, I moved up to Johannesburg. I got a job. I started working. I started being a corporate girly. I am working with my degree, just just mind you. So with law, you do your degree, your 4 years, but once you qualify with that 4-year degree, you are not yet ummeli wenkantolo. You are ummeli. No, ummeli. You are a lawyer. You're not an attorney of the High Court. So as a lawyer with just this LLB degree, I started working at this company, and prestigious company in Senton. Started being a corporate girly, as I've already said, and it was nice. It was good. It was really nice. Bought a car, you know what I mean? Like, things are just moving. I bought a brand new car at that. You know, it's nice. It's good. Life is good. And just fast forward a couple of years into me working, and I realized that no, man, my potential is wasting away here. I realized that my potential is wasting away here. I remember I changed roles while I was in the bank, and there's a friend of mine now, we laugh about this all the time. I said to her, she's a chartered accountant, and we're working together at the time. Well, not in the same team, but we're in the same office. And so we're having lunch this one time, and I said to her, you know what? I feel like I'm being a glorified teller here. And she couldn't believe that I said that, because this is a prestigious bank, beautiful brand, you know, and it's a nice company to work for, very, very nice company to work for. But I said, I feel like I'm being a glorified teller, and I think my potential is wasting away. And I was confronted now with the idea of, what do I do? What do I do when I feel like my potential is wasting away? And mind you, when I went straight from varsity and I went into working, I had said, I do not want to practice law. I do not want to be an attorney at all. I don't want to do that. I just want to be a corporate girly. But now when I realize that my potential is wasting away at the expense of being a corporate girly, what do I do? Because I've sworn off being a practicing lawyer completely. I've sworn it off, the idea of ever being admitted. So I was confronted with that reality, but I had to make a tough call. I had to swallow my words of saying that I will never practice law, I'll never get admitted. I had to swallow those words and rethink the entire situation. And I rethought it, and I decided that I wanted to go and get admitted as an attorney. However, that also meant that I had to leave the job at this prestigious company that is paying me well. It's not well. I actually must not lie. It wasn't well. It was okay. They were paying me, you know, a good enough salary for a graduate at the time. And now I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to leave my job. I'm going to have to leave this job and go start afresh. I'm going to have to go become a candidate attorney and start from, you know, square one, just so that I propel myself forward. So that's exactly what I did. And the story of how messy that journey was and how God turned it around, that story is in another episode. These episodes are just going to be coming, okay? So yeah, I will be detailing that story again in another episode, but that's what I did. And that's how today, when I am reintroducing myself to you, I can fully and proudly and humbly say I am an admitted attorney of the High Court, and I am a radio presenter of one of the biggest radio stations in the world, the biggest radio station in Africa, by the grace of God. But I'm also a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister. Oh, I love being a sister. That's actually one of my favorite roles, by the way. I'm new into motherhood. Probably it's gonna be up there as one of my favorite roles. But being a sister is so sacred to me. I think because I grew up not having older sisters, and now I have younger sisters who call me Sisi, to whom I am their older sister. And I've got quite a lot of cousins that look up to me, that call me Sisi with their chests And I love that. I love that role of being a sister. So those are some of the hats that I wear. And if I forgotten any, I will surely be reminding or sort of speaking to those hats as well in future episodes. But I am passionate about self-actualization. I am passionate about progressing. And as I said, that I'm here to try and build a progressive community. And I am the one person, I'm one of those people who just hate the idea of thinking, oh, I could have. The idea of having regrets of not trying out things because you kept on postponing or you kept on holding yourself back, and now 5 years later you think, oh, I should have, and then the time is gone. And I'm one of those people who really do believe in that. If you thinking right now, probably you're 30 years old, you're 28, however old you are, and you're thinking, I want to start a new degree, and you're like, oh no, if I start now a medicine degree now at the age of 30, by the time I finish, I'll be 36. But even if you start that degree, even if you don't, in 6 years, you are going to be 36. So you could be a 36-year-old with a medicine degree, or you could be a 36-year-old with just regrets. So those are some of the things that really push me as a person. Those are some of the things that I think about a lot. And that's one of the reasons why I decided that I want to come back to YouTube. I love being in front of the camera. I love talking. I love being in conversation. And that is why this channel is called In Conversation with Boniso Modo. I'm also going to be bringing other people onto the channel. It's not just going to be me. Just this limited series where we're just getting to be acquainted with each other. But after that, I'm going to be bringing you very interesting guests. I have so many people that I want to have in conversations with, and I want those conversations to benefit you, and I want you to relate to those conversations, and I want you to draw value and inspiration from some of those conversations. We're going to be talking about money. We're going to be talking about finances, personal finances, business finances, just general finances. And because money makes the world go round, so it's important that we get that part of our lives right, and we are very clear about that. We are not shy to have those money conversations and those finance conversations. And I'll tell you this for free as a way of just giving you a bit of a sneak peek into some of those conversations. When I left my job, I took a salary cut, a major salary cut. I think it was over 50% of a salary cut. Yeah, well over 50% of the salary cut when I decided to leave my job and go back and be a candidate attorney. That meant a great deal of shifting things around in my life. But again, when I then moved from being a candidate attorney, when I got the job that I wanted to get after being admitted as an attorney, I jumped quite a number of tax brackets, you know what I mean? And those are conversations that we need to be having, to say that you can't always just hope that your job is going to get you the pay grade that you want. Sometimes you're going to have to do some switching around, like go to another company, come back, or sort of switch industries and come back, or whatever that you have to do, but just be strategic about your money moves. So those are some of the conversations that we're going to be having on this platform. We are going to be talking a lot about careers. We're going to be talking a lot about businesses. We're going to be just profiling some of the young people who are doing amazing things in their respective fields, whether it's in business or career or sports or arts, a whole lot of it. But I'm very, very excited to have all those conversations and bring all those people onto this platform in conversation with Boniso Modo. And now, as I said, that right at the end, I'm going to be telling you my new surname because it is exciting, it's fresh, it's new, you know what I mean? So my name is Boniswa, and of course my maiden surname is Modo. I am keeping that. I still have my maiden surname, but now we're just putting a hyphen and we add my husband's surname, which is Mzebechana. So I am Boniswa Modo Mzebechana on paper, But here we can call this platform In Conversation with Bonisomodo. It's all good, all right? Thank you for tuning in to this very first episode of this limited series, Reinvent Yourself. This was Allow Me to Reintroduce Myself, the first episode of the series, and this is In Conversation with Bonisomodo.